Hi everyone! Today for our read aloud, we are going to read The Dot. The Dot is a story written by an author, Peter H. Reynolds, and Peter Reynolds has written several books that have amazing illustrations. They're great stories, and this week we're going to read a couple of them. So one thing that I love about the title of this book is the fact that the is a sight word that we are experts on. We know the because we've been reading it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then dot, dot is a CVC word. So we haven't learned dot or the ot family yet, but we know how to tap out CVC words. So the dot, this title is really friendly to read. We know those words. The dot. The dot. Oh, look at how they used the picture in the front cover, a giant dot as the O. That was clever. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm, she said. Very funny, said Vashti. I just can't draw. Her teacher smiled. Just make a mark and see where it takes you. Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. There. Look at her, look at Vashti's eyebrows. What does that tell you about how she might be feeling? And the fact that the author used the word jabbed. A jab is when you kind of like poke something really hard. How do you think Vashti might be feeling? Maybe a little angry or frustrated? Let's see what happens. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it very carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. So she wrote her name, Vashti. Raise your hand if you know how to write your name. Yeah, you guys are so good at that. Raise your hand if you can write your first name and your last name. Now raise your hand if you can write your middle name. Wow, good job. And if you don't know, maybe that's something you can practice this week. The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot that she had drawn, her dot, all framed in swirly gold. Huh, I can make a better dot than that, Vashti thought. So she opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted, a yellow dot, a green dot, a red dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the red, and she discovered that she could make a purple dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make even bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot at all. So she did the outside of the paper or the canvas and left the inside white and formed a dot that way. Very clever. Wow, look at all those dots. All different kinds. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Do you think that the author means splash like when you jump in the pool? No, in this instance, the author means she made a splash like it was pretty popular, like people were visiting, people were looking, people were talking about it. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it." The end. Wow. So Vashti started off in this story feeling a little self-conscious, a little frustrated. She didn't think that she could do anything in art class. She couldn't paint or draw or create. And her teacher kind of gave her a little nudge and a pat on the back and said, "You can do it." And then Vashti started to create, and she just grew to love making these dot paintings. And then at the end, she was able to help that new friend, that little boy who was feeling like he really couldn't do much drawing yet. So I wonder, and I bet you're wondering the same thing, I wonder if this little boy will see his squiggle and want to keep making squiggles and more drawings just like Vashti. I wonder. All right, kindergarten. Well, if you have any art supplies at home, I think it would be a great idea if you're wanting to create to use those art supplies. Maybe you can make a dot of your own, or maybe you can make some other creation with colors. You can use paints if you have paint. You can use crayons and markers if you have those. And if you don't, maybe you can use the Seesaw app and do some kind of art on Seesaw. You can always make different kind of art. You can use chalk. You can use little pieces of things, like if you have Legos or if you're outside, you can use different kinds of sticks and stones to create art. There's so many different ways, probably more than I'm even saying right now. So if you come up with some great art, please share it with us. We'd love to see it. Bye.